Welcome to the Level Up Report, where this week I want to talk about some unnecessary sequels, at least for video games. We can talk about that for movies another time. What comes to your mind when you think of any sequel in any video game franchise that you thought it's a little unnecessary or it just doesn't really propel the story forward or improve on the gameplay from the previous game? So what do you think, Kumo? Any ideas? Any games that come to
Uh,
mind?
the the biggest game that come to mind will be Final Fantasy X because that game was great. It was awesome, and it concluded so well. It was bittersweet, but it finished really strong. And then out of nowhere, Part Two was released a year later, and it's and the whole time, it only how you say it mention the main character from the first game, and you could only get it once you 100% the game. And that's what everyone played the game for, just for that, reunion. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything because that's why I'm admitting everything for people that never played it. But yeah, like the whole game was really unnecessary because like the first game was great, was awesome. Why try to milk things further? And these sequels is only made because these developers or publishers just want more money. They don't care about their titles, their projects. They will like throw it under the bus just to squeeze everything out of it. And that's just so wrong to the people that created it and the people that enjoy the games, the
Yeah.
players.
Well, there was one particular game that made me think about this topic, and that was Last of Us 2, because I recently played through for the first time this year, and I thought the whole story and the ending and everything about it was self contained. It finished on a really bittersweet note, but fit the characters. And then the second game's coming out, and it doesn't feel like it's going to have the same impact to me. Like, it's going to try to set up some shocking events and everything, but I feel like story wise, personally, I don't feel like I need more. I think it ended enough and I got enough answers. I don't need everything answered. This is the thing. If you're gonna make a sequel, I don't need everything answered, or I don't want everything handed to me. I don't mind having gaps in the lore or characters or backstory because it's more fun for, I think, for me to fill in those gaps and just think about it.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that part. Like, again, milking the series, just trying to get as much money as possible, and like how I feel the same way you do about it ending it in a really really great way. I really enjoyed it. I was satisfied,
Yeah.
and they taking that satisfaction away from us by putting this extended story out, and we don't know if it's going to be good or not. It might ruin it, the whole series, because usually when you think of these series, it is a series, like one, two, three, all combined one thing. You don't view it as an individual game anymore. What they should have done is make a spin-off, use the same setting, but use brand new characters, brand new story. Like how, for one good example, the Yakuza series, right? Judgment took the setting, but made a brand new game, brand new character. They just took the setting, maybe the same game mechanics, but the setting, the character, all come. I mean, not setting. The character and the story is completely different. That is a good way to make money by using a new IP, right? What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. Like, you're not
Yeah.
tying the original characters that you're familiar with. So it's still in the same world if
Mm-hmm.
gets people still interested and still it's telling a different story that's completely on its own. Which, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. They're recycling the same coding and everything. So like they are saving money and they're gonna make new money by releasing a new IP. I don't know why people are just thinking that they have to like reuse the name again and again and again. Like another one would be Dark Souls. Miyazaki said that he's okay with it. He was done. It ended well. It ended strong. The lore was there. It does have some holes, but that's fine. Like you said, it was fine. But then the second game came out, threw in all these different things out of nowhere. I was like, why? Why? They had to release third game just to tie in the second game. Like, ain't that crazy? Like, really? Come
The
on, man.
third one also ties in strongly to the first game. I
Ah,
don't think you needed, but okay.
it's like to fix the second game, you need a third game. But that just beat the whole thing. Like, it just they're playing games with the players. And I don't know if the developers are okay with it. Like, the publisher, like, I need a new game now. Please make it. That's why Miyazaki had to stop. Like, hey, I want to work on something else. I want to be known for something else. And that's why he
Would
was
you
creating this.
say the Metal Gear Solid series had maybe some unnecessary sequels? Because Hideo Kojima wanted to stop Metal Gear Solid for a while. And then he finally did after 5.
Well, that's a different story, though. He had to leave the company. They can't. I don't know. He can't be involved in Metal Gear anymore. So I
I
don't
know,
know
but
what to say
early
about
on
that.
in the series, he wanted to make something completely new.
Okay. And which he did was the Silent Hill PT demo, which was amazing.
Rip that demo. Lasted
Yeah.
only a few months. No, not even maybe.
Well, it was because of Konami. But other than that, yeah, like being forced to make sequels for money, it takes away from the creativity of these directors. And like they should only make it if the director wants to, want to continue, want to like develop the world further, have more ideas that they couldn't do in the first game.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be forced. And but like, how about let's talk about Division and Destiny, how these
Huh.
sequels came to be.
So you're talking about Destiny 2 and Division 2?
Yeah.
I think those are definitely unnecessary because from even a gameplay standpoint, it doesn't really improve on much. Like there's some definitely like we're going back to playing Division 1 and going into Division 2 right after. There are definitely some quality of life things that we immediately feel and we notice. Like overall story beats and everything, you don't need it. Like it's a different settings, but I feel it's the latest examples along with Last of Us 2 that just I don't need it. And it's just okay, it's here, but I don't know if anyone's asking for a sequel.
Mm. I feel like Division 2 didn't have to be its own game. I felt like it could have been patched into the original game, honestly, or become a DLC, like the expanded map kind of thing. But these life changes, it could be patched into the game. Right now, they just taking advantage of their player base and have them purchase a brand new game for the same exact thing, honestly. And it was missing some of the other DLC from the first game, that made it so good and so fun.
And they're going to reintroduce it probably for
And
more money.
it better be free. I swear to God.
It wasn't free in 1, so who knows.
uh,
I agree with that. It's tough. I get why we would make a sequel. Maybe they just want to revisit it, or because the fans want more of it.
if they want more, it could be done without releasing as a sequel. It could be a DLC. It could be patched into the game itself. Like for example, you know how like The Last of Us ended, but then they have this Left Behind DLC.
Yeah.
It was just a DLC. It could just be squeeze in. It doesn't have to be a brand new game. You know what I'm saying? Also with let's talk about Borderlands. Borderlands 2. You know how Borderlands 3 is coming out? and then they
Or it
squeeze
came out,
this.
yeah.
Oh, it came out. They squeeze this DLC into Borderlands 2 just to tie it to
Tie in
Borderlands
the
3. Yeah,
games together, yeah.
it was free. It was patched in. That's all they needed, just to patch it in for free or pay DLC for like not that expensive, like a cheap, maybe like $5 to $10.
Yeah.
Everyone will be happy. People will still give you money. Just don't take it too far, and like ruin the whole series, the whole name of the game.
Yeah, there was actually you were thinking about the rebooted Tomb Raider that it could have actually ended on first game.
Yes.
Personally, I don't agree with because I feel like it opened up the doors for more. But why do you think that they should have stopped at the first one?
Well, because like that reboot is just talking about Laura Croft, her
Just their
origins.
origin story.
Yeah, it's the origin story. And at the final scene when when she grabbed the second gun and two-handed wielding it, that was her signature iconic move.
Mhm.
Just shooting it with the two guns. And it just I felt like it ended really well. We know how she became this type of woman, how she got interested in exploring and finding these like hidden tombs and stuff. I thought it was great. The second game, I didn't fully beat it. It introduced this new, stories and lore like that wasn't in the first game. I
It
feel
was
like it could
hinted at a
be.
little bit, but yeah, they definitely expanded on it in the second one.
I felt like it could be a spin-off, not a sequel. A spin-off. You could just put a new thing onto it.
I guess you could do like a expansion, something like that. But they did add a lot to the second game.
Yeah, like the second game, it introduced new mechanics, like the survival thing, all that stuff. And again, it could be DLCs, patch into, that kind of thing. Because these games are modern. These are not like the older games where everything is solid into a disc and that's it. End of it. But for these modern games, I felt like everything could be patched in or DLCs.
Yeah, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
There was one last example that you brought up for a necessary sequel, and that was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh
So I
man, oh
don't
man.
remember too much about Kingdom Hearts 2, but I want to hear where you think it should have stopped.
So Kingdom Heart is like the worst one. They squeeze it so much. They release so many games, and they didn't really think of the story well. Like whoever wrote the storyboard, they hire so many people. It was ridiculous. Because like if you think about it, the first game ended it when Riku uh, and the king shut the door. They shut the door. The darkness is there. They had some light. Blah blah blah. That's it. It was happy. It was a happy ending. None of this extra stuff, like dive into why he went to sleep and became this. None of that stuff from the other games.
Or why he changed his hair to a different color or anything like that.
Yeah, it just gets so complicated because like they expand the lore to like a exponential amount that they forget their origin. And this is one of the series that it got expanded so much that it became bad. And it's sad because like the first game was pretty great. It was really fun. It was
Oh
one
yeah,
of
that
the
was
best
the only
PS2 games.
game I'll say right now. That was the only Kingdom Hearts game I actually finished and was like, okay, that wasn't bad.
Yeah. So yeah, like it all started with the Game Boy Advance. They released that game there, and then uh, Kingdom Hearts 2, and then the PSP uh I don't know 300 and something day. It just keep getting more and more and more till this third game that was recently released 6 months ago or so, and people wasn't really that satisfied with the game. It wasn't
Because they have
satisfying.
to try to resolve every single plot point they introduced through all
Hmm.
these games. From what people
Uh,
sounded like it didn't. Like because there was so many.
Yeah, it was so many, and like from I never played the game yet, but what I heard from people is that they are setting it up for
Ugh,
another sequel, and there's a DLC coming out for the game as well.
really?
Yeah, so that is one title where it gets messed up just by having so many sequels, for sure.
It's just tripping over the amount of games it made.
Hmm.
Like,
And
okay, how do we do all this?
and it takes away the resources from the developer to work on a new IP. It takes away from the time and creative ability uh directors. Could be working on other stuff. It could be much better. It could make the publisher more money. There's a potential. There's a higher potential. And then now they put in themselves at risk of what was it tarnishing that name, that original IP.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really glad I brought Kingdom Hearts. I have a lot of problems with that series because of how many sequels it just spawned out of its butt. But yeah, those are just, some examples of it. Those are like the more high profile ones that you could think of. But if there's any other ones, you guys can let us know, because those are the ones that we feel the most strongly about. So it's our own opinion. So if you think, the sequels they added to it, that's good for you. For us, no, it doesn't. But that's gonna do it, and we'll see you next time, guys.